Before you scroll any further, I want you to stop. Just for a moment. Not because of an algorithm, not because of a thumbnail, not because of anything the world arranged. Stop because I am the one who arranged it. Out of every message you could be hearing right now, out of every voice fighting for your tired attention today, this one reached you. And it did not reach you by accident. My child, I have a way of finding you in the middle of the noise. I have a way of slipping a single word past all the static of your day and laying it gently against your heart. So if something inside you just paused, if something inside you grew quiet for no reason you can explain, that quiet is not nothing. That is me. That is the sound of heaven leaning close to the one it loves. You did not stumble onto this. I led you here. I have been watching the way you carry your days, and I knew there would come a moment when you needed to hear from the one who made you. This is that moment. So set down just for a little while the weight you have been carrying. Set down the phone full of other people's lives. Set down the worry you woke up holding, and let me speak to you the way a father speaks to a child he has missed, the way a shepherd speaks to the one sheep that wandered into the cold. I am not in a hurry. I have all the time in the world for you. And before this is over, I want you to know something with your whole soul. You are seen, you are known, and you are far more loved than you have allowed yourself to believe. My beloved child, I know how long it has been since someone really looked at you. Not at what you do, not at what you provide, not at the version of yourself you perform for the world, but at you, the one underneath, the one who lies awake when the house is finally silent, the one who smiles in the daylight and aches when the door is closed. I see that one. I have always seen that one. There is a name I carried before the world ever knew me, a name a frightened woman gave me long ago in a wilderness where she thought she would die forgotten. She had run away from everything. She was pregnant and alone and certain that no one in heaven or on earth had noticed her tears. And when I met her there in the dust, she said something that still echoes through every generation. She called me the God who sees. You are the God who sees me. Out in the wilderness, where she was sure she was invisible, she discovered that she had been watched over the entire time. That is who I am to you as well. I am the God who sees you, not the polished you, not the strong you, the real you. I saw you the night you cried so quietly that the person beside you never woke. I saw you in the car in the parking lot, gathering yourself before you walked back inside to be strong for everyone else. I saw the prayer you were too embarrassed to finish, the one you whispered and then felt foolish for whispering, certain it would echo back unanswered. I caught that prayer. I keep all of them. Nothing you have ever brought to me has fallen through the floor of heaven. Beloved, you have spent so long feeling unseen that being seen now might frighten you a little. Let it. Let yourself be found. I want to tell you something I know about you that you rarely admit to yourself. You are tired. Not the kind of tired that one night of sleep can fix. A deeper tired. The tired that comes from being the strong one for too long. You have been the one who holds it together. The one others lean on. The one who answers the calls, carries the load, fixes what breaks, and never lets anyone see how close you have come, more than once, to simply not being able to anymore. You have learned to function while quietly falling apart. You have learned to say I'm fine in a voice so convincing that you almost believe it yourself. And all the while, somewhere underneath, there is a part of you that is exhausted from pretending. A part of you that has been waiting without even knowing it for permission to put the weight down. So here is your permission. Come to me. Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I did not say come to me when you have it together. I did not say come to me once you have earned it, once you have fixed yourself, once you are worthy of being carried. I said come weary, come heavy, come exactly as you are at the end of a long road, with the dust still on your feet and the tears still wet on your face. The invitation was never for the strong. It was always for the tired. And my child, you qualify. You have qualified for rest for a very long time. You simply would not let yourself receive it. You think your strength is what makes you valuable to me. It is not. I do not love you for how much you can carry. I love you because you are mine. If you never carried another burden again, if you laid every responsibility down this very hour, I would not love you 1 degree less. So loosen your grip. The world has taught you that to rest is to fail, that to need help is to be weak, that to be carried is shameful. The world is wrong. In my kingdom, the one who lets himself be carried is the one who finally understands love. Let me carry you. You were never meant to hold the sky up by yourself. That was always my job, and I have never once put it down. Now I know what some part of you is thinking even as I speak. If you really see me, you are thinking, then why have I been crying for so long with nothing changing? If you really love me, why does it feel like the heavens have gone silent over my prayers? My child, I want you to hear me carefully, because this is one of the great misunderstandings of the human heart. You have been measuring my love by how quickly your circumstances change, and that is not how my love works at all. Listen, I keep track of every sorrow you have. I have collected all your tears in a bottle, every one. The tears no one saw, the tears you hid, the tears that fell on a pillow at 3 a.m. when you were certain you were alone. I did not let a single one of them fall to the ground and vanish. I caught them. I keep them. They matter to me more than you could understand, because they came from a heart I treasure. Do you understand what I am telling you? Your tears are not evidence that I have forgotten you. Your tears are recorded in heaven. They are written down. They are kept like something precious, because to me they are precious. Nothing you have suffered has been wasted. Nothing you have endured has been overlooked. The world throws away tears, treats grief like an inconvenience, rushes you to get over it and move on. I do not. I lean closer to the brokenhearted, not farther away. I am near, the nearest I ever am, to those whose hearts have been crushed. When you felt most abandoned, you were most surrounded. You simply could not see it through the water in your eyes. So let me say plainly what fear has been whispering against. Your weeping is not a sign of my absence. It is the place where I draw closest. And the night you have been crying through is not endless. It only feels endless because you are still inside it. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I did not say weeping would never come. I said it would not have the last word. The night is real. I will not insult your pain by pretending otherwise. But the night is not the end of the story. It is the part of the story that comes right before the morning. And the morning, my child, has my name written all over it. Let me tell you about a woman who wept the way you have wept. Her name was Hannah, and her grief was the kind that hollows a person out. Year after year she longed for a child, and year after year the longing went unanswered. She was mocked for it. She was misunderstood. The person who should have comforted her did not understand the depth of her ache, and the person who provoked her made the wound deeper. So she did what you have done. She went to the house of God, and she poured herself out. She prayed so brokenly, with her lips moving and no sound coming out, that the priest watching her assumed she was drunk. That is how deep her sorrow ran. It looked like madness to a man who had never wept that way, but it was not madness. It was a soul emptying itself before the only one who could hear. And here is what I want you to notice, beloved. Hannah did not get her answer that day. She did not walk out of that temple holding the child she had begged for. What changed in that moment was not her circumstance. What changed was her face. Scripture says she went away and ate, and her face was no longer downcast. Something settled in her before anything changed around her. She had handed me the weight, and even though she could not yet see the answer, she could feel that the answer was now in better hands than her own. That is the peace I want to give you tonight. Not the peace of having everything fixed. The peace of knowing the one who will fix it. The answer came for Hannah in its season. The son she carried became one of the great prophets of her people. But the healing of her heart came first, before the proof, in the quiet exchange of a burden too heavy to keep. You have been waiting. I know. You have been waiting so long that you have started to wonder if waiting is simply your portion in this life, if the answer belongs to other people and the silence belongs to you. My child, I need to correct something that the long wait has taught you wrongly. You have come to believe that delay means denial, that because the door has not opened, the door has not been locked forever, that because the prayer has not been answered, the prayer was never heard. But delay is not denial. Hear those words again and let them sink past your mind into the deep place where you make your decisions about hope. Delay is not denial. A thing that is late is not a thing that is lost. I am never late. I have never once been late. I am simply working on a timeline that loves you too much to rush. There were things you asked me for that I have not yet given you, and you have taken my withholding personally, as if it were a verdict on your worth. It is not. Some of what you asked for, I have not handed you yet because your hands were not yet ready to hold it. If I had given you certain blessings in the season you first demanded them, they would have crushed you, not helped you. A gift given too early can become a weight that breaks the one who receives it. So I have been doing in the unseen what you cannot watch. I have been strengthening your hands. I have been deepening your roots. I have been building in you the capacity to hold what you prayed for without it destroying you. The waiting room you have hated is the room where I am making you ready. You thought you were being ignored. You were being prepared. Think of the farmer. He does not dig up the seed in the morning because he sees no harvest by sundown. He knows that the most important growth is the growth that happens underground, in the dark, where no eye can verify it. The seed does not look like it is doing anything. To impatient eyes, the buried seed looks like a buried hope. But under the soil, where you cannot see, roots are reaching, life is organizing itself, and a harvest is being assembled cell by cell in the silence. You have looked at the soil of your life and seen nothing and concluded that nothing is happening. My child, I am the gardener of your soul, and I promise you, something is happening in the dark. The very season you have despaired over is the season your future is being grown. And now I want to speak to the silence directly, because I know the silence has wounded you more than almost anything. You can endure a hard answer. What undoes you is no answer at all. You have prayed and heard, it seemed, nothing back. And in that nothing you have built a quiet and terrible theology, a belief that my silence is the same as my absence. Let me dismantle that for you, because it is a lie that has been stealing your peace. My silence is not my absence. When you cannot hear me, it does not mean I am not there. There are times I am working in ways too deep for words, and to fill that holy quiet with chatter would be to interrupt what I am doing in you. There is a story you may have heard of two sisters whose brother was dying. They sent a message to me, urgent and full of fear, because they knew I loved this family. They were certain that the moment I heard, I would come running. The message was simple. The one you love is sick. And what did I do? I waited. I stayed where I was 2 more days. To the sisters, my delay must have felt like betrayal. Their brother died while they waited for me to appear. I can only imagine the things they thought about my love in those silent, devastating days. He did not come. He did not even answer in time. We told him we needed him, and he stayed away. They did not know what I knew. They did not know that I was not late. I was aiming at something greater than a healing. By the time I arrived, their brother had been dead 4 days, long past every hope a human heart can hold. And it was precisely there, in the place that looked like my failure, that I revealed myself as the resurrection and the life. I called a dead man out of his tomb. The delay that broke their hearts was the delay that became the greatest demonstration of my power they would ever witness. Do you see, beloved? My silence was not my absence. My delay was not my denial. I was not failing to love them. I was loving them towards something bigger than the thing they had asked for. They asked for a healing. I gave them a resurrection. And I tell you this so that you will stop interpreting my silence as rejection. Some of the quietest seasons of your life have been the seasons I was preparing your resurrection. You asked for a small mercy, and I was assembling a great one. You wanted the thing fixed, and I was preparing the thing transformed. Stop reading abandonment into my stillness. When I seem most silent, I am very often most at work. There is something else the waiting has taught you to fear, and I want to free you from it. You have prayed for doors to open, and instead you have watched doors close. Opportunities you wanted slipped away. Relationships you clung to ended. Paths you were certain were yours turned to dead ends in front of you, and every closed door felt like a punishment, like proof that I had withdrawn my favor, like one more door slamming on a life that already had too few open. But my child, you do not yet know how often a closed door is not a punishment but a protection. You do not yet know how many things you wept over losing were things I was sparing you from. You have thanked me for the doors that opened. One day you will understand that some of the deepest mercies of your life were the doors I closed while you were begging me to open them. Consider a young man named Joseph. He had a dream from me when he was still a boy, A dream of a future so large his own family could not stand to hear it. And what happened to that dream? It looked, for years, like it was being destroyed. His brothers betrayed him and sold him. He was carried as a slave into a foreign land. When he finally did something right, he was falsely accused and thrown into prison, where he was forgotten by the very people he had helped. Door after door after door closed in his face. Every closing must have felt like the dream dying. From the inside of that prison, Joseph had no way of knowing that every locked door was secretly a corridor, that the pit and the prison were the strange and painful road to a throne. He could not see that the same hands that seemed to be tearing his life apart were positioning him to save an entire nation, including the very brothers who betrayed him. Years later, he was able to say to them the words that only someone who had seen the whole picture could say. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. That is the view from where I sit, beloved. I see the whole picture. You see the closing door. I see the corridor it leads to. You see the loss. I see the protection. You see the dead end. I see the detour that keeps you off the road that would have destroyed you. I am not careless with your life. I am not slamming doors out of cruelty. When I close a door in front of you, it is because I love you too much to let you walk through it. One day, on the other side of this, you will look back at the very losses you are grieving now, and you will understand that I was loving you the entire time, even when love wore the face of a closed door. And here is something deeper still. Sometimes the pressure you feel is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. Sometimes the discomfort, the unsettledness, the sense that you can no longer get comfortable where you are, is my hand. You keep praying for change while clinging to everything familiar. You ask me to take you somewhere new while you grip the walls of the old place with both hands. So in my mercy, I let the old place become uncomfortable. I let the familiar lose its comfort, not to hurt you, to move you. A mother eagle, when it is time for her young to fly, stirs up the nest. She makes the comfortable place uncomfortable on purpose, because if the nest stayed soft, the eaglet would never learn that it has wings. The discomfort is not abandonment. The discomfort is the beginning of flight. What feels like everything falling apart may be me loosening your grip on a place that has grown too small for who you are becoming. So I want to say it to you as gently and as clearly as I can. You are not falling apart. You are being moved. The ground feels unsteady because you are not meant to stay standing on it forever. The walls feel like they are pressing in because the room you have lived in was never going to be big enough for the life I planned for you. Do not panic at the pressure. Read it correctly. It is not the end of you. It is the stirring of the nest. It is my hand at your back, gentle but insistent, saying it is time, my child, it is time to rise. Let me turn now and speak to the part of you that is most afraid I am addressing. The part that believes you are too far gone. The part that has done things, or had things done to it, that you are certain have disqualified you from the kind of love I am describing. Maybe you have been listening to all of this and thinking, this is beautiful, but he cannot mean me. He does not know what I have done. He does not know how badly I have failed, how far I have wandered, how unclean I feel when I am honest with myself. My child, I know all of it. I knew it before you knew it. I knew the whole story of your life, every chapter, including the ones you are ashamed of, before I ever called you to listen tonight. And knowing all of it, I am still here, still speaking, still calling you beloved. That is not a mistake. That is who I am. I am not in the business of using people while they are clean and discarding them when they are stained. I am in the business of taking what is broken and making it new. I will give you a new heart. I will put a new spirit within you. I will take out the heart of stone, the heart that hardened itself just to survive, the heart that learned to stop feeling because feeling hurt too much, and I will give you a heart of flesh again. A heart that can love, a heart that can hope, a heart that is no longer ruled by the wounds that taught it to shut down. You think your hardness is permanent. It is not. It is a scar over a wound I am able to heal, and I do not heal you by force. I heal you by love, the way the sun does not command the ice to melt but simply warms it until the ice forgets how to stay frozen. I want to take what the enemy meant to ruin you and turn it into the most beautiful thing about you. I give beauty for ashes. I take the burned down places of a life, The wreckage you are certain is only good for grieving over, and I make something beautiful grow there. The ash is not the end. The ash is the soil. Some of the most radiant souls I have ever raised up were people standing in the ashes of everything they thought their life would be, certain it was over, not knowing they were standing in the very ground from which their new life would bloom. Your failures are not your final word. Your wounds are not your identity. What was done to you does not define you, and what you did in your weakest hour does not get to write your future. I am the author of your future, and I write with grace. Hear me, my child. There is no failure great enough to erase what I have written over your life. There is no darkness thick enough to drown out the calling I placed in you before you were born. Before you were formed in the secret place, I knew you. I saw your unformed days, and I wrote them all in my book before a single one of them came to be. Your existence is not an accident the universe tolerates. Your existence is a sentence I wrote with intention, a melody I composed on purpose. You were wanted before you arrived. You were loved before you could love back, and nothing you have done since has changed the wanting or the loving by even the smallest measure. I know the world has spoken other words over you. It has called you too much and not enough in the same breath. It has measured you and found you wanting. It has reduced you to your usefulness and discarded the parts that did not serve it. And you have worn those labels for so long that you mistook them for the truth about yourself. They are not the truth. I am the truth, and I have called you by name. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Think of what that means. Not written in a book that could be lost, not stored in a memory that could fade, but engraved, carved permanently into the very hands that made the stars. You cannot fall out of the mind of the one who has carved you into his own hands. Wherever I am, you are remembered, and I am everywhere. Let me tell you something that may be hard for your wounded heart to receive, but I want you to receive it anyway. I do not merely tolerate you. I do not merely put up with you, like a parent enduring a difficult child. I delight in you. There is a thing I do over those who are mine that few of them ever let themselves believe. I rejoice over you with singing. The God who flung the galaxies into the dark and named every star, the God whose voice the storms obey, sings over you. Like a parent standing over a crib at night, humming, not because anything needs to be done, but simply because love overflows and has to express itself. I sing over you, my child. In your worst seasons, when you could not feel it, I was still singing. The song never stopped. You just could not hear it through the grief. I am asking you tonight to begin to hear it again. Now I want to call something out of you, not demand it. Call it. There comes a point in every healing where the heart, having been comforted, must also choose to move. I have spent this whole time telling you that you are seen, that your tears are kept, that your waiting is not wasted, that your closed doors are protected, that your failures are forgiven, that you are loved beyond measure. All of that is true, and none of it is too good to be true. But there is a step I am inviting you to take, and I will not force you to take it, because love never forces. I am inviting you to trust me with the next step before you can see the whole staircase. Faith does not begin where certainty ends, exactly the way you have always feared it must. Faith begins precisely where you cannot see, when you choose to move toward me anyway. I will not hand you a map of the rest of your life tonight. If I did, it would no longer be faith, it would be sight, and the deep soul-shaping intimacy of trusting me would never form in you. What I am asking is smaller and harder than a map. I am asking for your next step, just the next one. Put your next step into my hand. The way a child crossing a busy street does not need to understand the whole crossing, but only needs to keep holding the hand of the one who does. Remember the woman in the crowd who had been bleeding for 12 years. 12 years of suffering. 12 years of spending everything she had on cures that did not cure, of growing worse instead of better, of being treated as unclean and untouchable by her own community. 12 years is a long time to keep hoping. Most hearts would have died long before the 12th year. But she had heard about me, and something inside her, fragile and trembling and nearly out of strength, made a decision. If I can just touch the edge of his garment, she thought, I will be healed. And here is what I want you to notice. The healing did not come while she sat at home wishing. The healing did not come while she waited to feel strong enough, or worthy enough, or sure enough. The healing came the moment she pushed through the crowd, on weak legs, with a trembling hand, and dared to reach out and touch the hem of my robe. Power went out from me into her in the instant of her reaching. Her faith did not wait for proof. Her faith was the reaching itself. Beloved, I am near enough for you to reach. You do not have to push through a crowd or travel a great distance. You only have to reach, here, now, with whatever trembling faith you have left, even if it is the smallest and most exhausted faith you have ever held. You do not need great faith. You need real faith. Faith the size of a mustard seed. Faith that is little more than a willingness to reach. Reach for me, not when you are stronger. Now, in your weakness, power flows toward the one who reaches. And remember the blind man on the side of the road, the one everyone told to be quiet. When he heard I was passing by, he began to cry out, and the crowd rebuked him and told him to hush, to stop embarrassing himself, to accept the life he had been given, and stop making a scene. But he cried out all the louder. He would not let the crowd's shaming silence his one chance at mercy. And I stopped. In the middle of everything, with a whole city pressing around me, I stopped for one persistent, unsilenced voice. "What do you want me to do for you?" I asked him. And he said simply, "I want to see." My child, the crowd will always tell you to be quiet. The voices around you and inside you will always say it is too late. You are asking for too much. Settle for what you have. Stop making a scene with your hoping. Cry out all the louder. I am not annoyed by the persistence of a heart that wants to be made whole. I stop for it. I have always stopped for it. You have grown so used to the wilderness that you have started to build a home in it. I understand. When a season of hardship goes on long enough, you stop expecting it to end and start arranging your life around its permanence. But hear me. I did not bring my people out of bondage just to leave them wandering in a desert forever. The wilderness was always a passage, never a destination. It had a beginning and it had an end, and the only reason it lasted as long as it did was that fear kept telling them the giants on the other side were too big and the journey was not worth the risk. Do not let fear add years to your wilderness. The land I promised you is real, and the wilderness you are in is not your home, it is your road. There is a difference between resting in me and being stuck in fear, and I am teaching you to know the difference. Rest is peaceful and ready to move. Stuck is anxious and refuses to. One is holy. The other is a slow surrender of the future I have for you. So let me blow away the mist that has been clouding your vision. The thing you keep calling waiting for the right time may quietly be stealing the season I prepared for you long ago. I am not calling you to recklessness, to leaping without listening, but I am calling you out of the comfort of endless delay. There is a great difference between the peace that lets you rest and then rise, and the fear that keeps you frozen so long your soul forgets how to move. If I am the one leading you, you do not have to wait until every wind has died down before you set sail. You only have to know whose hand is on the rudder, and my hand, beloved, has never once left it. I know that even now, having heard all this, a part of you is bracing for the disappointment. You have hoped before. You have felt this stir before, this lift in the chest, this sense that maybe things could change. And then the morning came and the feeling faded and the circumstances stayed the same, and you decided it was safer never to hope again than to be crushed one more time. So you have made a quiet peace with low expectations. You have called it being realistic. You have told yourself that to expect nothing is to be protected from pain. My child, that is not protection. That is a slow death of the heart, and I did not give you a heart so that it could die slowly in the name of safety. I gave you a heart so that it could hope. So I am asking you to hope again. Not the brittle, anxious hope that demands a guarantee before it will risk anything. A different kind. A hope anchored not in your circumstances changing, but in my character not changing. My mercies are new every morning. Every single morning without exception, regardless of how the day before went, a fresh supply of mercy arrives at your door. You cannot use up my mercy. You cannot exhaust my patience. You cannot wear out my willingness to begin again with you. Great is my faithfulness, and it is great precisely on the mornings you wake up certain you have run out of road. There is no end to it. The well does not go dry. The morning always comes with a new mercy, and the new mercy is always enough for the new day, and the one who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Hear the weight in that. I do not start things in people and abandon them halfway. I am not a builder who lays a foundation and walks away bored. What I have begun in you, I will finish. The good work in you is not yet done, and that is not a reason for despair. It is a reason for hope, because the unfinished places in you are not evidence of my failure, but evidence that I am still working. You are not a project I gave up on. You are a project still under my hands. The very flaws you are most ashamed of are the places I am still smoothing. I do not quit on my children. I have never once quit on you, not in your darkest hour, not when you quit on yourself. I am faithful even when you are faithless, because I cannot deny who I am. And who I am is the God who finishes what he starts. I want you to imagine, for a moment, the version of your life that exists on the other side of this season, the you who came through, the you who can look back at this exact night, this exact ache, this exact uncertainty, and say with quiet wonder, I did not think I would make it, and I made it. That person exists. That future is real. It is not a fantasy you are using to comfort yourself. It is a place I am leading you toward, one step at a time, through a road you cannot fully see. And on that day, you will understand that not one of these hard days was wasted. The tears watered something. The waiting built something. The closed doors protected something. The silence prepared something. You will see the whole tapestry and finally understand why the threads on the back looked like such a tangled, senseless mess. And you will see that I was weaving the entire time. All things were working together for your good, even the things that felt like they were working only for your ruin. So do not give up before the morning. I know how dark it is right now. I know how heavy the night has been and how long it has lasted. But you have not been crying into an empty universe. You have been crying into the hands of a God who keeps your tears, who has not forgotten you, who is nearer than your own breath, and who has already prepared a future for you with a hope in it. Your story is not over. Whatever the world has told you, whatever your own discouraged heart has whispered, hear it now from the only voice that has the authority to declare it. Your story is not over. The best chapters are not the ones behind you. The author is still writing, and the author loves you, and the author does not write tragedies for the children he engraved on the palms of his hands. There is a day coming, beloved, when there will be no more night at all. A day when I will wipe away every tear from your eyes, when death and mourning and crying and pain will be no more, because the old order of things will have passed away. Every tear I have kept in my bottle, I will wipe away with my own hand. Not a tear forgotten, not a sorrow dismissed. Every one of them gathered, accounted for, and then gently, finally, wiped away forever. The night you are in is real, but it is temporary. The morning I am bringing is real, and it is eternal. Hold on for the morning. It is closer than you think, and it has your name on it. Now, before I let you go back into your day, I want to leave you with the truth I most want you to carry out of this moment. The truth I want lodged so deep in you that the next hard day cannot dislodge it. You are seen. You have never once been invisible to me, not in your loneliest hour, not in your most hidden grief. You are known, all the way down, the parts you show and the parts you hide, and you are loved in the knowing, not in spite of it. You are not forgotten. Heaven has not lost track of you. Your prayers have not vanished. Your name has not slipped my mind, because your name is carved into my hands. And your story is not over. Whatever ending you have been bracing for, it is not the ending I have written. Stay. Hold on. Trust me with the next step. The morning is coming, and I am already in it, waiting for you, with the light I promised beginning to spill across the path beneath your feet. My beloved child, rest now in being loved. Let these words settle over you tonight like a hand resting gently on a tired shoulder. You do not have to fix yourself before morning. You do not have to have the answers before you sleep. You only have to know that you are held, that you are seen, that you are mine, and that the one who made you is awake all night, watching over the one he loves, and singing. If this message found you the way I intended it to, if something in your spirit knew it was for you, then let your heart say it back to me. Let a quiet amen rise up from somewhere deep, a simple yes, an agreement with everything heaven has spoken over you tonight. If you can, write that amen down where others will see it, because there is someone scrolling through their own long night right now who needs to know they are not the only one being loved like this, and your one word of faith may be the light that reaches them. Share this with the person heaven has been pressing on your heart while you listened, the one whose name kept surfacing, because that was not a random thought, that was an assignment. And if you want to keep walking with me through these messages, stay close, return often, and let this be a place you come back to whenever the night feels long. But more than anything you could do with your hands, simply receive what I have done with my love. You are seen. You are not forgotten. Your story is not over. And you are loved, my child, with a love that has no end and no condition and no expiration, today and tomorrow and all the way home.